Hello and welcome back to the FTHcast. It's episode number, I meant to check this, 24-ish?
Sure.
I don't think it's 25 because I was planning on doing something special for episode 25, so hopefully it's not episode 25. If it is, then forget everything I just said. It's a Game of the Month podcast, Batman Arkham series, really, not just Origins, even though Origins is probably going to be the majority of the subject since it just came out not too long ago. We're recording the Monday after it came out on Friday, didn't it? After
the weird Friday launch.
Yeah. And actually it's Tuesday, so we've had a little bit of time with the game, so that's good. And then of course next week we'll announce the next Game of the Month, but not on this podcast. Of course, I am joined with the Phantasma Gloria Kyle Martin.
I don't know what any of that means.
It's an old scary game. I don't know what made me think of it, but it's close to Halloween. So Phantasmagoria was like a point and click scary adventure game where they used like real actors in the game, and like I don't know, it's really bad. It's really funny, and it used to scare the crap out of me when I was a little kid. But
spooked you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Couple things. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I guess we've gone over the Game of the Month, and we're gonna talk about that next episode. I do want to say I'm gonna be testing out some new bumpers and stuff at the beginning and the end, and might change up the format just a little bit, kind of tweak it, make it so everybody's a little more involved, and I'm not the only one talking like it usually is. But we'll see. I haven't actually talked to the guys about it yet. Nathan, of course, is on hiatus. All three of us have like the most ridiculous work schedule, so it's really hard for us to all get together, but that's okay. We work around it. So yeah, let's get into it. Well, no. Let's there's no reason not to do this like we always
Pump
do.
The brakes.
Yeah, let's what have you been playing this week, Kyle? Other than Arkham?
I have not been playing anything other than Arkham. Like Paul said, our schedules are all crazy. I've been working open to close for the last week and a half, so the limited time I have has been getting into Origins. I'm not that far along. I just got to the I assume is the first Deathstroke boss battle. I would imagine you find this early on and kill him, or not kill him, because Batman doesn't kill, we all know that.
Yeah.
But which I can't beat for some reason. I played it about 6 times before.
It took me forever.
I don't know what I have to do.
I'm actually kind of glad you brought that up, because actually I saw on IGN that right now that's considered the hardest boss battle in the game. And it's just like, it took me 3 or 4 really good tries, and my only advice is like take it slow and just counter whenever you can. And you can get like, usually if you counter, you can get like 2 hits in after that, and then you just want to play it slow and just wait for him to attack.
Okay, so I mean... I could say this, I guess, for the greater discussion, but
no, go ahead.
Like, I don't understand what Electrocutioner did in the like, I was like, oh, I bet I know what to do with him. You just have to vault over him and then hit him. So like, literally, it was like defeat Electrocutioner, and then I vaulted over him and kicked him, and it was like literally it was over before it started.
No, I just walked up and punched him and it was done.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think.
See, I was like, oh, you probably can't do a frontal attack because he's got electrocution powers.
I think they were trying to troll you, because I think he's supposed to be kind of a scary boss because he has electricity and stuff, and he was punching it into the ground. Because obviously he doesn't get captured, he escapes. So you're obviously going to fight him again later on in the game. By the way, if you haven't played it and you're worried about spoilers, I probably should have said this earlier. We're going to have some spoilers. Neither of us have actually gotten very far into it. I'm not much past you. I've done... after you defeat him, you have to go and do another kind of investigation detective thing, which is much better than the first one, I will say. The first one where you have to find the key card when the guy, like, did you do that?
Yeah, well, yes, I did.
Yeah, that was really easy. But the next one's really interesting. And I would still say it's easy, because I think it'd be weird if you had to, like, really decipher everything. But it's really cool and it's really interesting, and I won't spoil anything for you or anybody else. Because there are big plot points come out. It's the next big story section of the game, but it's really cool. and it does get better, and I'm kind of hoping it stays better. But anyway, yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I haven't been playing anything. I played a little bit of Batman. I'm still playing Minecraft, which is surprising. I'd stopped for a really long time, and then I found this other mod pack, and I'm really enjoying it.
I got the sudden urge at work today to want to play Skyrim. I don't know why, but if I do, it'll be like this. Honestly, can't say like either the 8th or 10th time that I've started a new game.
Yeah.
For some, like, I don't know. If I go back and like play a game, like I can't just go into like my last save. Like I
Yeah.
literally just have to start over no matter what. But I don't
Yeah,
know. I might revisit that here soon. And there's always just a few games that whenever like the weather starts changing from summer to fall, that I always feel like I always usually play Half-Life 2.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so I might try to play a little bit of those sometime, but
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Last time I tried to play Skyrim, the only thing I wanted to do was build a house. And it's actually ends up being, in my opinion, much cooler than anything else you can do in that game. But it's also basically, I mean, it's nothing. It's you find the materials and then you click on the right menu item, and that's all you have to do. It's basically pointless, but I don't know. It's interesting. It's kind of nice being able to say, "Oh, I want a library," and then filling it with stupid books. I'm trying to think if I played anything else. I've been playing Clash of Clans on my phone.
Oh yeah.
And no, there's something else I bought recently. Oh God, I can't think of what it is. Oh no, Path of Exile. Path of Exile is a new game that came out. It's free to play. It's basically, they've been making it for like 7 years, and it's basically Diablo 2 on crack. So not Diablo 3. It's like it takes
good one that everybody loved, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it really looks and feels like Diablo 2, and it's really cool. And they have a really awesome like store. It's all like there's nothing real grindy about it. You can really get through the storyline, and the skill trees are really cool, and just everything they do with that game is really good and balanced, which is good because they've been making it for 7 years. But yeah, if you have a good PC, I'd recommend Path of Exile. It's a very, very fun game. And actually, you don't really even need a high-end PC. So yeah, they don't have a Mac version yet, which is kind of a shame. If you're laughing and there's an awkward edit here, it's because Premiere just messed up the recording. So anyway, yeah, no Mac version. I have a friend that I played a crap ton of Diablo 2 with, and he only has a Mac now, so he doesn't have a PC, so we can't play together. But they're working on one, hopefully, and I'm sure we'll spend way too much time playing Path of Exile together. It's very, very fun. But that's it. Yeah, Path of Exile, Batman, Minecraft. As sad as it is to say. Usually I have like 10,000 games to say, but oh well. Let's talk about Batman. Let's talk about the whole series. Let's talk about the evolution, because there's a large part of me that's very particular about, like, there's very few series I can say that I'm happy when things don't change a whole lot. Like with from like Fallout 3 to Fallout New Vegas, there wasn't a whole lot of like mechanic changes from those two. And but I still loved both of them. And some games, say, I don't know, Call of Duty, they don't really change, and I hate those games.
Right.
And there's definitely a progression between Asylum and City, but from City to Origins, it doesn't really seem like there's that much different in it. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, what's your...
I'll go back to that first point you made. Like, Call of Duty doesn't acknowledge that it's broken, so that's why it's frustrating that it doesn't change. Just from a...
Right.
I don't know, I guess kind of a...
general balance and...
Yeah, like just... overall, not necessarily technically. I mean, obviously you can play it and stuff like that. I mean,
right.
But just as far as overall game balance, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But that being said, moving on to your second point of there not being much of a difference between, because obviously Asylum was a very like
Metroidvania
specific, yeah, like you were in a area.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they want to expand on that, take you to the Arkham City, and then, which in turn turns into, I don't know, a fourth of Gotham City, which I don't... Sorry, I had to mute my mic. I
thought
got
you
a little bit of
exploded.
a head cold here. I blew up. But I don't know. This wasn't mentioned in any like preview that I read, which I think was kind of strange. And I noticed it when I got into the game that like so far all the map that I've been in is just the Arkham City map, and I'm sure. I mean, obviously, I know it's going to expand into more, but I don't know. I just thought that was kind of like a
Well, you can
cheap kind of retread. Um, but I mean, I understand why they did it, but I don't know. It was just very strange to start the game in the same area that the whole last one took place. But I mean,
now,
again, I know
let's
why they.
because I'm kind of confused too, right? Because I definitely recognize some of the things that were in Arkham City, but when you cross the bridge, the other side of the bridge is all new stuff, right? Have you looked at the
Yeah,
map yet?
yeah. Like after you go across the like a normally long bridge, yeah, that's where like the new stuff
Okay.
kicks in and stuff
And is
like.
it and call me stupid, but is that the top side or the bottom side that's new?
I the Arkham City area, I believe, is in the northern part, so I believe that
Okay.
would be the southern part of the
Yeah.
map.
Because I'll be quite honest with you. To me, most of the city looks the same, except for like the few
Well,
things that stand out.
yeah,
Like they have the few the chemical plant and there's like of course the GCPD and the big boat and there's a couple things there that stand out. But for the most part, like when I'm flying around, I don't know where I am on the map because it's just a bunch of buildings to me. But that's kind of the way Arkham City was in a way. Minus like there was that one area that was like flooded or was like mostly water, and I was like, oh
right.
well, this part's different, but everything else looks the same to me. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean I understand. Like it was very like if there was not a map in the game or like some kind of objective marker, like you would have no idea where to go because it's just all like brown building, brown building, brown building.
Right?
So it's
Yeah.
very. I don't know. I've always like I was that way with Arkham City too. I was like I like the idea of the open world
Hmm.
Batman, but it was like it's just all kind of the same. It's dark and gloomy and gray and brown.
And and I guess it kind of works because you don't really spend your time walking through the city. You spend your time like
Right.
flying over it. But I was thinking about this when I was playing yesterday. I was thinking, I was like, I wonder what a playthrough would be like if I didn't glide from building to building and I just ran down every street. Like, would I be able to find which way I'm going? Like, are there even street names? Like, I don't know if I've ever even noticed like a street sign or even street lights.
So
Like,
that's one of
because you
the
you spend so little time on the ground.
yeah, one of the reviews I read of it, they were I can't remember who. It may have been on IGN. I don't know. I don't think it was though. But um they commented on the fact that I mean, yeah, it's set on Christmas Eve night, but the only like activity on like the street level is like thugs walking around.
Yeah,
There's no like sense that you're actually in a like big metropolitan city at night.
yeah, that's true. That's actually a really good point because even I guarantee you, even and I guess is Gotham more like Chicago or New York or just its own city? I don't know. Um, but even like normal big cities, people walk around at night. But isn't there supposed to be a curfew? Isn't there supposed to be a curfew in Gotham City? I feel like I
Oh,
was flying around at one point. It was like curfew's on now. Everybody go to bed. Maybe I was thinking
really?
something else.
I don't know. There might be. I don't know. There's always stuff over the radio that
Listen
I
to yeah.
hear and like yeah. I don't know if it's trying to tell me that there's like a side mission somewhere or something like that. That's what I don't know. I found this one very confusing. Like
I was getting ready to say the same thing. There's so many times when I'm like flying by criminals and they start talking about Batman and stuff, and it's like, oh, I really want to listen to you, but I don't. Like, I don't want to just stand
yeah,
there and listen to you. Like, I guess I can just keep flying, and eventually you'll finish what you're saying, or I'll fly too far away. But I don't know, man.
like I was describing this one as to one of the guys I work with. I was like, it's like you just broke up with the girl that you think is like that you're going to judge all other girlfriends off of.
Yeah.
And you've started dating somebody new that, is really similar. You dated her to
Yeah.
fill that void. But then there's just little things that aren't quite the same that you just can't get past.
Yeah.
Like I haven't gotten to Troy Baker doing. I haven't obviously met the Joker yet. So, but I mean, he did that. I don't know if you saw it. He did a monologue from The Killing Joke, and he does a great Mark Hamill Joker impersonation, which I don't blame. I mean, like Mark Hamill's voice and any other time I would have remembered it, but the guy that's always done Batman, Kevin Conroy, like that's their voices that's the Joker and that's Batman,
right?
And I don't know, it's just like I don't know. I try and let those things go past, but for some reason they just like I notice it and it gets under my skin, and I don't know, it bothers me.
And I'm kind of glad you brought that up. I definitely noticed a difference in Batman's voice, but I think he's doing a pretty good job. But I definitely think he's pulling a little bit from the Dark Knight series.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's definitely some parts where it's just like, tell me where he is. Yeah. But then there's times when he's like talking to Alfred or whatever, and if I'm not paying attention, then I just don't really notice a difference.
Right.
But
yeah, I mean, I think he does a great deal. I wish his voice is very flat emotionally. There's not like which that's so weird to say because it's not like Kevin Conroy was like all over the plate. It's not like he like went, but for some reason it was just like it was little subtle things that you could tell, like if he was like back in Asylum and City, like if something was happening, like he just knows the right place to fit in, like certain just kind of changes in pitch and stuff like that. But
he has a huge advantage in the fact that he's done different types of Batmans as well. Like he's done Batmans that are a little more kitschier and a little more goofy, and he's done Batmans that are a lot more serious. So he has that range really with that one character that who this new guy obviously probably doesn't have. I don't know if he's done any other Batman ever. Probably not.
I think he voices like Captain America on maybe. Yeah.
Captain,
right.
Who's?
Am I right?
Anyway, so yeah, I'm kind of glad you brought that up because I haven't heard the Joker's voice yet. I haven't heard that monologue you were talking about, and I definitely haven't ran into him in the game yet. But yeah, let's bring up bad guys or villains or whatever, because first of all, they named a whole bunch of them right there at the beginning because he tells you all these people are coming after you, which is really weird that he would tell you that. Or I guess you just figure it out. And of course, some of them I don't know. But that was like the big thing in both the first game and the first two games really is like running into like seeing these bad guys for the first time and being like, oh my gosh, it's what's his face and he looks so cool in this game. And they just kind of ruined the surprise for like, what is it, like 6 different guys?
Yeah, like that. Like I remember playing Arkham, Asylum, I should say. And like there's a secret room and you don't quite know what's going on, and then you find out it's like Clayface in there. You're like, oh, that's awesome. Like all the hint, like not hints, but like Easter eggs of characters and like stuff like that. That's like rock steady. Like their attention to like minor little Easter eggs and details, like that's what made Asylum and City so awesome.
Yeah,
because you could just walk around and like find little nods to like just pretty much anything that has to do with the Batman mythos.
Right.
And in the first 5 minutes of Origins, you know what's happening and who the villains are.
Right.
And I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some surprises along the way, but it was to me, it was like, just, okay, it's going. Like, it just started. So
yeah. I'm kind of sad that they announced that the Joker had a voice, like that somebody was going to voice the Joker. And I guess they kind of had to, because when I first started playing it, obviously Black Mask and all the assassins and stuff. But then at some point you kind of get a hint that the Joker's coming around. And to me that was really cool, but I was thinking, well, I guess I kind of already knew he was going to be in the game. So it kind of ruined that surprise. And like you said, like I'm really hoping that they definitely bring in new people. But yeah, it's just a real big shame. Like, and like Killer Croc, like he was my favorite villain in Asylum, and you don't really fight him; you just kind of run from him, right? That's that whole sewer section, right? If I remember correctly.
What is it? What's the deal with him being in like the beginnings of all the games?
I have no idea. Well, I think it's just because like, oh, he's scary, but it's not somebody they find to be particularly important, maybe. But I kind of wish they did. I kind of wish, like, I mean, he's like your first boss that you fight, and it's a pretty interesting fight. It's definitely more dynamic, and it's not necessarily like anything you fought before. I mean, it's similar, but yeah, it's just kind of like, oh, well, now he's captured, so I'm not gonna run into him again. Like, but in that first game, like you never really see him, and he's always like hiding underneath you, and he's really really scary and intimidating. And of course, in Origins, yeah, you just kind of fight him and he's gone, and that's it. I was like, that's really disappointing. But I haven't fought all the bosses yet, and we were talking about Deathstroke earlier, and right now that's my favorite fight. I love how hard that was. I love how interesting it was, and I hope that like every boss battle is that dynamic, because they really did a really good job in City as well. Like the Ra's al Ghul fight, and a couple other fights were just good fights. They were really hard, or they were just interesting, and they were different from than the last fight you did, even if just a little bit. I don't know. What's been your favorite boss fight so far? Mine's definitely Deathstroke.
Well, I guess Deathstroke's the actual like first official one I've had, but
and I mean out of all the series, sorry.
Oh, geez. That's hard.
Yeah.
I really do like this Deathstroke. Like this game, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I do like it. It's more Arkham. I mean, which is always a good thing. Of course, you had to be a little reticent of it, like obviously because it was made, with new company and stuff like that. So it wasn't going to be a Rockstar Arkham game. So going with that mindset, I mean, I was kind of on the fence about it, but for some reason, whenever this Deathstroke fight kicked in, I was like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And it was just, like you said, we were talking about this before I think we started recording, and like I finally realized, I'm like, I can't just sit here and try to beat this guy because I'm getting my head smashed in every single time. And so like it was fun to realize, like, I don't know, that made you feel more like you were figuring out the fight, like you were Batman. Like you had to like, well, okay, I can't go straight on. I've got to use a tactic here of countering this guy to, use him to beat him.
Yeah.
And I 6 tries later, I still haven't beat him, but I'm getting to where I feel like I can. So that was pretty neat.
And I think that's why so far it's been one of my favorite, because it felt like I accomplished something once I beat him. Like, and that felt really good. But they really set the bar high. And it's not that every boss battle is going to have to be difficult, but I don't want the same thing over and over again. Oh, go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I've heard that the Firefly one is pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited to run into him and see what his character's like. My favorite, or one of my least favorite things to do in the game, actually, and just because I feel like it's so tedious and it takes forever, is like when you get into one of those rooms and you have to take out everybody has guns, and you have to like take everybody out silently or whatever.
That's one thing that I know. Yeah, I've got multiple thoughts. I'm trying to figure out how to string them together here. That's one thing that I always kind of disliked about. I know the point of it, like you're supposed to like, it's like the stalking areas, but it never made sense to me because you're generally in a room that's like as bright as day.
Right.
And like they kind of addressed that in City by saying like some of the guards I think they had like night vision goggles they had something that even though you weren't really in the shadows, if you hit up on the gargoyle, that they were looking up there for you.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, they always, I don't know, they need to find something that tweaks those a little bit to make them a little more interesting. Because you pick a guy off, you go up onto a gargoyle or something. All the
Yeah.
guys run over there. You wait for them to disperse. You pick off another guy. So it takes you like 20 minutes
Yeah.
to not really accomplish, just to clear an area.
Yeah, right.
So,
I think it'd be more interesting too if you could hide bodies, because I always find that really annoying. It's like, oh, I took this guy out. Oh, now they discover him, so now all of them are standing around the same guy. So now I have to wait for them all to like spread out again. And I guess that kind of gives you opportunity to kind of move around to somewhere different because they're all together. But every time you take someone out, the room clears out a little bit anyway, so you have more space to move. So I kind of wish there was a better way to like hide people once you've taken them out, as opposed to just waiting for them.
I think it would be cool to kind of do something sort of like the what's it called on Splinter Cell? Like the mark and execute. Like there'll be a group of guys standing next to each other or something like that. And I mean, there are some cases where there's like a dual silent takedown and stuff like that.
Right.
But, or you could like kind of predetermine of course that would make it super easy, but
Yeah.
where you drop down and just, it's like I don't know, maybe a special combo or something like that where you just quickly take out like 3 guys. That way, you take one out. It's not like 30 minutes after. But I don't know. Like, I agree with that. Those sections were always kind of...
they're just really slow. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They really slow down the pace of the game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You don't want to constantly be moving forward and make the game really short. But those I just feel like those things drag on and on and on. And every time you have to do them, it's just like, oh, here's another like 45 minutes of me trying to figure this out. It's just annoying. And part of me kind of thinks, and like if they could just make it to where I could just beat the crap out of them all. Like if that,
Yeah.
But then that's a whole nother section of mechanics. And actually, let's talk about that because the fighting hasn't really changed at all. But again, we haven't gotten that far into it, so I'm assuming there's probably more gadgets to unlock. Hopefully, there's some new ones. I've unlocked one gadget, but it's not necessarily anything new. So I don't know. They have the same, but pretty early on, and you'll notice this right after you finish the Deathstroke fight, all of a sudden you'll have guys wearing heavy armor, you'll have guys with knives, and you'll have guys with shields. Like that comes on pretty quick, which in Arkham City, that took a while before, you got pretty far in before people started getting knives and shields and guns and stuff. So hopefully this means that there's like, okay, this is everything you've seen before, get ready for new stuff. But just in general, like, and kind of overall the whole series, like, I mean, do you find the combat like really easy and satisfying, or hard and not satisfying? I don't know. Like,
I find it satisfying when I focus on stringing together. Like that's actually a really good question. Like, if I go into it just thinking like, okay, I'm gonna beat the crap out of this whole big group of guys, like I get frustrated because they start hitting me, and I'm like, I'm Batman. Why aren't I just taking these guys out as easily as they can hit me? Like, but if I sit there and like kind of, if I try to string together like a huge, like 20, 25 hit combo or whatever, like that's when it like gets fun to me. Like if I try to do that, like I really enjoy it. But if I just go in there and just start like punching everything, which I'm sure was their intent, like
it's kind of interesting because it's a situation where if you want it to be easy, it can be pretty easy. You can just beat the crap out of people and hit Y every time, you see a blue mark over somebody's head, so you can counter. And there's not much else you really have to watch out for. But I did one of the challenges, and this showed me how bad I really was at the game. and like you get a trophy at 10,000 points, you get a trophy at 20,000 points, and then you get a trophy like 40,000 points. So you can get up to 3 trophies or whatever. And they give you ample opportunity because you do like 5 rounds, and each time there's like double the guys. So you end up fighting a whole bunch of guys, so you can get as many chains as you want. And I did it, and I did a good job. I was getting high number combos and stuff, but I still ended up with like 6,000 points. So there's clearly a whole nother list of moves and like being able to use gadgets to take people out that I just don't use ever. But to me, that's really awesome. To me, it shows me that like, oh, if I had actually played, because I never played the challenge maps in any of the other games, but it makes me think, oh, if there's an opportunity here to get really good at this game. And actually something we haven't talked about, and I don't know if you've tried it yet, but have you looked at the new online stuff, the competitive?
I haven't actually. The like 3v3v2 or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
I haven't either, and that's something I think we'll probably definitely talk about once, on the podcast once we get to try it out. But I could see that being really interesting, and if you got really good at that, like, ranking up in those leaderboards and stuff, like that combat system, it's so fluid, but it's so hard because like you were saying, like I'll find myself going in and I'll just beat the crap out of people, and there'll be like 2 guys left. And I won't be paying attention. This one guy will hit me, and it's like, oh, I died. Why did I do so bad? And then, then I go back into it, and I try to concentrate a lot more. And I remember playing, and the only game I can really compare it to is Assassin's Creed. And a lot of people do.
Right.
But people talk about how easy the combat is in Assassin's Creed series. And I can definitely say, like, I think I played 2 and Brotherhood, and I played the original a little bit. And actually, I have 3, but I never played it. But those games are super easy. And even still, like, it was really easy to run away, which I guess in Batman, it's super easy to run away. All you got to do is grapple hook anywhere and you're gone. But I don't know, like, there's something about how that combat it feels so in depth, even when you're just mashing buttons. Because a lot of times I just hit X over and over, and then
I think it's because he's not just, like, when you're surrounded, like, he's not just like punching and kicking. Like, you punch a guy, there's a guy coming behind you, and to counter him, you block his, instead of just like spinning around and punching him in the face.
Yeah.
Like, he's kicking you. Batman grabs his leg and then spins around and elbows him, and then the next guy comes in and he headbutts him. So it seems like you're doing more because it's not just a punch and kick. Like, it's
right,
like blocking, parry, and then, like, smashing his head on something. So it's a lot more dynamic than just light punch, heavy punch, kick.
So. Right. And that's one thing that was really, they definitely stepped it up in Arkham City, but it's been pretty true throughout the whole series of, like, just how good those animations are and how, like, how fun they make everything. The only thing I've always found really weird is he runs like he's like the cartoon Batman. I feel like he runs like a cartoon Batman and not like a real person. But maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just because the cape makes him look like that. But I feel like he runs like a cartoon Batman. But yeah, the animation quality in really all 3 games, both in just like the way the faces look and just like the way the fighting goes, I can't think of another game that really does fighting that well, like, and make it feel that fluid but also difficult. Like, of course, like I was saying, Assassin's Creed tries, but even like fighting games that are designed to be that, a lot of those things, the fighting's actually really choppy because every time they hit, there's like kind of a freeze frame, like, you kind of stun the other person, and there's like this weird, like, I don't know, fighting games are just weird and they're beyond me, and they just don't feel as realistic as this is. Like, this feels like a real Batman kicking real bat butt. Like, it's just, I don't know.
See, that's what I really like about this one is, like, the first time you run to the Penguin, like, he just like gorilla presses him and then throws him into the wall. Like,
yeah,
I mean, that was the intent, to be like, a younger, more temperamental Batman. But I don't know. I get, like, I don't know. I knew that's what it was going to be like, but for some reason, like, seeing it on screen, like, I'm like, yeah. Like, it's really, I don't know, just satisfying. Like, the combat is different, too. Like, his demeanor. Like, in Origins, he's much more, like a bare-knuckle kind of fighter, wherein,
yeah, that's true.
Like, Asylum and City,
he's like a trained master.
Like, he could be surrounded by guys and he's just like standing there really calmly. Yeah. And so
that's actually one of my favorite.
Cool to just kind of see, like, he's just really like raw and aggressive now.
That's actually one of my favorite ways to fight, is to just stand there and wait for him to come at me and then just counter everything they do. Yeah. There's something really awesome about that. Just like these guys, whoa, and he's like getting ready to throw a punch, and he just grabs his arm, flips him over, and then just stands there and just waits for the next guy to come at him. That's fun. I need to use batarangs. I feel like I underuse batarangs too in battles, because you can just like fire them like a machine gun.
Right.
I feel like
pew pew pew.
I feel like that's something that I miss in my combat a lot. But and how I died at one point and the penguin came up. I'm glad you brought the penguin up, and he looked really young. And I'm trying to figure. I don't how. Where is this in like years ago? His origins.
This is the second year of Batman.
And so, how far behind is it from like Asylum? Like, see, I don't know the timeline.
I mean, I'd have to say like. I mean, by the time Asylum rolls around and like City, like. I don't know. I'm sure there's like official something somewhere, but I mean, I would say it's got to be more than just like 1, 2, or 3 years. I mean,
I'd say it's probably like 10 years,
a decade. Yeah. So like,
because I thought Penguin looked really young, which is kind of a weird thing to say. And at first I was like, did they change the model? But then I realized he had like really dark hair and stuff.
Well, see, I'm also assuming at some point in this game they're going to show how he got the
monocle. That's what he's missing.
Yeah, like the glass shoved in his face or whatever.
I forgot about that. That's what he was missing. Oh, you're right. Oh man,
you got to grind out the whole game today to see if you can find them.
I know. I also want to see, and this will be the last thing to do. Okay, what bad guys that you have or villains that you haven't run into that you're hoping to run into? Zaz is definitely on my list. I love Zaz.
I think it's awesome that they're referencing the Red Hood in this one.
Yeah.
I think that's the Red Hood. I don't know. I've always seen
the Red Hood in some things that I've seen, the Red Hood was like the Joker at one point.
Free Joker. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder. That's kind of what I'm like looking forward to see. Like, I
wonder. Yeah. Did you look around the Batcave?
A little bit, but I've only been there once. So.
But did you see that billboard that had like the Red Hood stuff on it and a couple other stuff?
Yeah, where he's got like all the.
That made me so happy.
Yeah.
I guess that's the reference you were talking about.
Yeah, it was.
The Batcave. Yeah. Yeah. And so I don't know. So there's Zaz. You were talking about Red Hood.
I just want to see like just reference. Like I just get excited about like references.
Yeah.
Just like
I get what you're saying.
Easter, like that's what I look forward to most. Like in Arkham Asylum, there was you'd find like the little stones, and Amadeus Arkham would talk, and like for some reason, that was so awesome. Like
that was really cool.
He had an awesome voice, and like it just kind of told about like the origins of Arkham. So I thought that was really neat. But as far as characters wise, I hope they actually show the Red Hood himself, and not necessarily the Joker, if that's the route they take.
Yeah, and then there's somebody. Well, see, I kind of liked some of the stuff like that they did in City with like the Mad Hatter and stuff, and it was just like you just kind of ran into them and then you had to deal with them, or you had to like find them.
Like kind of one-off sort of thing.
Right? Yeah, and I'm sure they'll do that a little bit. I mean, there's no reason not to. But I mean, one thing I hope they bring back. Oh man, I don't know if they will though. Is the Scarecrow? I'm not sure exactly how he fits in the timeline.
I wonder if maybe there's just a reference to Jonathan Crane in it. Maybe.
Yeah. God, but those sequences are so cool. They're just crazy.
Man, the Mad Hatter one was really weird. Where you're like,
yeah.
Like some kind of like what's that movie? Donnie Darko. That's
what
the rabbit reminded me of.
And okay, so I haven't figured out if they've taken this out or not, but you can still kind of like, you know how in City, and I guess it was also in Asylum, you could like scan an area, like you would get like a riddle and you'd have to find like a something on the wall or whatever. You had to find an item and then you'd scan it, and that's how you figured out that riddle or whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? You can still scan in this game, and I'm probably like an hour or so ahead of you, but I still have not found one of those riddles. But every once in a while, I'll accidentally hit the little scan button, and it'll be like, no items here. I was like, well, I haven't even seen the opportunity to like find one.
The only things that I've found in this one, like Riddler wise so far, is those Enigma boxes. Like,
right.
There's no like
so annoying.
Yeah, there's no like whatever, like hidden messages on walls or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're gonna kind of do that again or what.
But there's an opportunity to actually go at some point, and I don't know where it happened in the story, but I know like where Enigma is apparently. Like I know where his hideout is because it shows me on the map. So I wonder if it starts maybe after you go there, or just after a while, because he keeps like progressing his storyline every time you unlock one of those towers.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see. He's one of my favorite characters just because he points out references and makes you do stuff like that. It makes you really look around the world and stuff. So I find that really interesting. But like in Arkham City, he had like 400 things you had to find. It was ridiculous, and to unlock. And I was like, I'm not gonna do all that. Like that's just for what? Like an achievement? Come on now, I ain't got time for that. So it's kind of they definitely scaled it back, but I kind of hope they didn't take that out because that was one of my favorite parts about the Riddler.
Can I end with a story about acquiring this game?
Go for it. I want to hear it.
Okay, so, which I'll start off by saying I'm pretty sure I reserved this for PS3 when I made my reservation because I did it on the same day that I paid off Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
And so they said, I did that on my 360, and then I said, but I want to order or pre-order Arkham Origins on PS3. Anyhow, I go into GameStop, I get my pre-order. At first I said, yeah, I think it's on PS3. The guy's like, no, I've got it on 360. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. I've got both. No problem. I just want the game. So I get it. Thanks, guys. Leave, whatever, go home. Play it a little bit. When was, I think maybe it was Saturday night. I played it for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably one reason why I kind of have a bad taste in my mouth about it. Like, I hate the way it controls on the 360. I don't know why it's so, like, foreign feeling to me.
I play mine on the PC with the 360 pad. I like it.
Really? See, I don't know. I mean, obviously people listen to like because you played the first two games, but
yeah,
it's something about the way the triggers feel different. Like I don't know. It's just it feels better to me on PS3. Anyway,
I can see that.
So being no stranger to GameStop and their return policy, the return policy is new open merchandise can be exchanged for identical merchandise. Having said that, I obviously know that technically a 360 game is not the same thing as a PS3 game.
Right.
That being said, money value is identical.
Right.
I'm not, trying to just return it or anything like that. So literally, like, I've had the game less than probably 10 hours because I don't sleep at night anymore, so I was up really early. So I call them, like, the next day, let them know, hey, this is what's going on. I hate the way it controls. I know this is a silly question, but is there any way that I can exchange it out for a PS3 copy? Because I know the return policy says, it can only be exchanged for the same merchandise.
Right.
No, we don't have any kind of return policy for new stuff.
What?
The only thing that you can do is trade it in towards a PS3 version. I was like,
what?
Wait a second. So first of all, I would pay $60 for my 360 version, trade it in and get $30, and then pay another $30 to get my PS3 version. I don't know. Ridiculous. I just thought that was.
Is that what you ended up doing?
No, I'm staying with my 360 version.
Oh, wow. For some reason, I thought you actually ended up with the PlayStation version.
I considered it like for about 2 minutes, and I was like, no, that's stupid. Like, I don't know. I just
it is really stupid. Yeah,
customer service was an absolute zero there.
Because basically they're gonna make, because they'll still sell that other copy.
And then they'll sell the new used copy for $55. Yeah.
So they'll still make. It's basically like them selling 3 games out of 2 games. That's ridiculous. See, I only paid $55. I bought yeah, let me tell you my story. I bought one indie game, one old scary game, and Arkham Origins for the price of one Xbox copy. It was like 60 something bucks. I was like, heck yeah. It was like $49.99 for Arkham. And then I bought I pre-ordered it when I got the Stanley Parable and a game called I Need to Scream But I Have No Mouth or something like that, which is a really weird, scary game, point and click adventure, blah blah blah. Anyway, yeah. The
cost to
PC Master Race.
Yeah, the cost to produce and manufacture a box to keep things in must be astronomical if they have to if the price differences are so much
Oh,
greater.
I don't even think it's that. I bet you if you bought a PC box copy, it would have been cheaper. I guarantee you.
I mean, I don't see any PC box copies that are like any more than like $39.99.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's almost always cheaper on PC. I remember when the original Scribblenauts came out. Or not the original, but it was like Scribblenauts Unlimited, the one that came out not too long ago, before the DC Comics one. It was $60 digital download on my Wii, and it was like $30 on Steam. I was like, that's just dumb. Like, that price difference was ridiculous. I was like, that's stupid. Who would ever buy it not on computer? But there you go. I mean, that also just shows you like how much control those console people have over pricing, and how Steam can be like, no, you don't. If you want to make it cheaper, you can make it cheaper. We don't care.
Dirty, dirty bastards.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that'll do us. I hope you enjoyed the show. Sorry for the weird editing in the middle that happened. I don't know what that was. Just Premiere being stupid. I have something better to record with, but I haven't really figured it out. It's called Audacity. It's free. It's really cool. I just need to figure out how to get 2 different channels into it. And then we'll be good to go with that. And that'll be a much, much better thing. Yeah, so you can just follow us on Twitter. I'm at FreeTheHawk. And of course Kyle is at
Kyle.
Yeah, at WhoAmKyle. I'm gonna put a little compression on. I don't know why I'm telling technical stuff to everybody, but I'm gonna put a little compression on this. Because I know sometimes I start out real loud and then my sentences end up real soft. So hopefully this will fix some of that, and maybe this will be a little bit easier and better to listen to. So let us know over Twitter, I guess, or you can comment on the YouTube page or whatever. Of course, you can find us at youtube.com/FreeTheHawk if you want to listen to it that way. But of course, we got us ourselves on the iTunes. Just search FTHcast on iTunes. Yeah, I've kept talking about how I want to do actual videos on YouTube, and we'll see. I still want to do it, but I don't know. I think I've got like 5 seconds before this recording stops again. So yeah, thank you all so much for listening, and we'll be back next week with a new Game of the Month announcement and back to news and the such, and hopefully Nathan will be able to join us, and maybe next month or in December we can do a special podcast with all our friends again and do maybe a long crazy one. I don't know.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, see y'all later. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.